Okay, so the rhythm section is directed by Reed Moreno, and it stars Blake Lively, Jude Law, and Sterling K. Brown. And it's about Blake Lively's character as she deals with a tragedy in her life. Her family is killed in a plane crash, and she deals with it for a few years. But then she learns that the plane crash wasn't just a plane crash, and it was actually a terrorist attack. So then Jude Law comes in to train her to essentially become an assassin, to take out these guys before, you know, they do something else that's worse. And going to this movie, I really didn't I didn't really think about this movie too much. I knew that this movie was coming out eventually, but I keep seeing it on the schedule, like it was supposed to come out in February of last year. Like, kind of like The Turning. And then they kept pushing it back. It was supposed to come out last November, but then they pushed it back, and now it's being released on Super Bowl weekend. A weekend designed for movies that, you know, people just don't want to see. So yeah, that sounds good. The trailers were okay. They didn't really impress me too much, but it didn't look like an abomination or anything. It just looked like it was going to be like your run-of-the-mill movie about, you know, about an assassin. It could be fun. And Blake Lively, she's a capable actress. She was pretty good in The Shallows, where it was basically a one-woman show. And she was also pretty good as the villain in A Simple Favor, so, you know, she can carry a movie, definitely. And this movie, to me, it wasn't that good. No, it really wasn't. Is there anything good here? The acting overall is fine. Like, no one gives a bad performance in this movie. Blake Lively, she's capable in this movie. She really does try in her very serious scenes, and problem is, she tries so hard, but yet there's not a lot of depth in her character. You can tell that she's trying, but not really. It's not really. I blame the script more than anything with her character more than anything. Jude Law looks like he's kind of having fun with his performance, because it's like he's very serious sometimes, and then he's kind of cracking a joke. It's like, okay, you're definitely trying to do something here, but clearly the script doesn't know what it wants you to do. Sterling K. Brown, he shows up about halfway through the movie. Doesn't really do much. He's Sterling K. Brown. He's okay in this movie. Doesn't really add a whole lot to this movie. The action is fine overall. It doesn't really blow you away or anything. There are a lot of long takes in this movie, and again, someone who's a sucker for long takes, as evidenced by 1917, and as evidenced by the videos that I do. There's a lot of long takes in this movie that I kind of found impressive at first. Like, there are some where I thought were more impressive than others. Like, there's this one where it's a car chase that I thought was really good. There's a fight scene between Blake Lively and Jude Law that I thought was kind of good. Then another one, you kind of see a bit of it in the trailer, but she's walking away from a bus that exploded. That was a long take as well. She regains her hearing. I thought that was cool. And after a while, I feel bad for saying it because I'm a sucker for long takes. It kind of became distracting after a while. Which kind of leads into my cons about this movie. It's kind of a simple story. It's like, oh, this woman finds out that something happened, and that it wasn't actually what it was. It was actually something completely different. So it's like, now I gotta train you to be an assassin or something. It's like, okay, this sounds like a pretty simple story. But no, it becomes so convoluted that I just got lost. Like, halfway through, I'm like, wait, what? Huh? What's going on here? Can you elaborate more? Explain to me like I'm a child, essentially. It introduces a lot of concepts, and it doesn't really go through with them at any points. Like, you can tell that Blake Lively's character, she's supposed to be upset over the loss of her family, and they do introduce an idea where it's like, oh, her character's upset because she's taking out lives and she's causing more harm, but they never go through with that, and that sucks. Her character, and there's also, what else? Essentially just feels like it's side missions rather than like actual mission on. It feels like she's going on side quests throughout the entire movie, because she does this, she does something else, then she goes on to do something else, and then it's like, oh yeah, we gotta get back to that storyline. At the the last third of this movie, we gotta get back to that storyline, I guess. Nothing ever feels really connected in this movie, and not in a good way. And it culminates to a twist that I'm like, again, explain to me like I'm 5. It just didn't make sense, and I'm like, okay, it probably didn't make sense, but maybe I wasn't paying attention, or maybe the movie didn't, elaborate on that. This movie has that problem. And on top of that, it's just dull. Like, I feel bad for describing a movie like this as dull, but it's true. Like, nothing really interesting in this movie, nothing really interesting happens in this movie until, like, that first long take where Blake Lively and Jude Law are fighting. And I feel bad. I feel really bad. Well, not bad enough to say, see this movie, but, like, bad enough to say, you know, it could be so much better than it actually is. And, you know, obviously these people have done better in their careers. And this movie, like, kind of like what I said with Gretel and Hansel, it's a movie that thinks it's so much better than it actually is, but it really isn't. So I'll give the rhythm section, I'll go lower than Gretel and Hansel. I'll give this 1.5 out of 4 stars, treatment. The performances aren't bad. The long takes are pretty interesting. The action's fine. But the plot is just so messy, and then you realize it's just boring. So, have you seen the rhythm section? And what is your favorite assassin movie? Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and take care.